injuries had happened that night, and he finally got his opportunity. He's not going to outrun anybody. He's going to outwork everybody.
It's just been a journey, and I fell in love with the school, Stephenville, and the community, everything. Like I said, I wouldn't change anything. I'll bleed purple for the rest of my life now. Probably the first one I had was back in '09, and it was a 4th and 8 against Midwestern, right after we picked it off in the end zone when they should have scored when we were down. I guess we were down 3 with like a minute left or so, whatever it was. And it was a 4th and 8 catch, and I took it like 45 yards. Lindholm hit the field goal. He took off sprinting down the other end of the field, and I spent 30 seconds chasing him, trying to catch him, just celebrating that kick. That's all I was really worried about. It really didn't hit me until after the game. I don't know if it was you or somebody came up and interviewed me and told me all my stats and everything, and I didn't know it was that much, like how it was. And I guess maybe that's kind of when it hit me, and then I was like, man, I could get used to this.
Injuries had happened that night, and he finally got his opportunity. And Midwestern was double covering on Devin Gwynn and left Buck wide open. You always knew that Buck was going to catch the ball if you threw the ball, and Scott knew that. Scott knew who the most reliable receiver was if you doubled Devin Gwynn. I mean, and we knew in that situation that they were going to do it. The amazing thing about it is, in 2-minute drills in '09, Scott Grantham called all of his own plays. You can kind of look at that and understand that he knew that they were going to take away D. Gwynn, and everybody was, because you had to take away that guy, and that Buck was going to be open, and that's what it was. That was an unbelievable night. But he also laid the block against Abilene Christian when D. Gwynn scored the touchdown on the punt return that got us going. I mean, and that really put, we go up 7-6 at that time. I mean, there's so many plays at the course of that kid's career. I mean, we played Angelo State last year. We're fighting our way back. I mean, they came back on us, and next thing you know, here Buck hauls a pass in, runs it down, onside kick. There goes Buck. Now the game's over because of what this kid's done. I mean, I know you wanted to talk about the Kingsville game, but it's just so many opportunities with a game on the line. This kid's made play after play.
Literally, it was just supposed to be a seam up the opposite hash. And when I turned around, I'm supposed to, if I get so deep and the safety's still on top of me, I'm just supposed to stop. Which it was the play kind of wasn't, that route really wasn't for 4th and 18. So when I kind of turned around, that's when I saw Scott just running for his life. And so I kind of just took off over there, and then all of a sudden the ball was just flying semi in my direction, which from my point of view, the ball like curved like this from the wind, because I guess Scott tried to throw it back across the field to me, and the wind kind of caught it, so it kind of curved. That's why I had to dive for it, because it was going away from me. And and another thing too, there was a Kingsville defender, which if he'd have jumped like half an inch taller, he'd have tipped it and knocked it away. So I mean, the whole play was pretty crazy. There's a lot of things that had to go right, and they all did right at once. No, he didn't say anything, and after I just made the catch, I was still kind of freaking out about making that catch too, so I really wasn't paying attention to where we were on the field. I thought we were way closer than that. And so Coach Mack said we're going to kick the field goal, so I just walked out to where Garrett was standing, because he was sitting there waiting for me with his foot down, marking his spot. So I just walked out there, got down, and then when Kingsville called a timeout, that's when I got up and kind of looked around, and I was like, we're still on the other side of the 50. We're not even over there yet. And so then I was kind of like, oh. It's like, man. So then we walked back over there. All of us walked over there. Garrett stayed in the middle of the field, out there doing his little leg swing that he always does. Coach Mack just said, all right, y'all go kick it. And I walked right back out there, and there was Garrett again, waiting with his mark. So I just got down, and then the same thing I always think, just get it down, no matter what. where it is, what kind of snap it is, just get it down so Garrett can get a hold of it.
He's not going to outrun anybody, but he's going to walk. He's going to outwork everybody. I mean, that's what's so great about Division II football, because a kid like that can come in here and work his butt off every day and enjoy. Here's the thing: Buck enjoys life. You know, he makes hard work and two-a-days that are long grinding. He makes them fun, and to see him now as 24 years old, mixing with these 18-year-old kids, I mean, it's funny, and they're all, man, Buck's so funny. No, that's Buck. He loves life, and he brings a smile to everybody's face, and you can't, if you hang out with him, you can't do anything but laugh and have a good time. But what a wonderful kid that. And he's not a kid, he's a man, and his mama's done a wonderful job of raising him. And his grandfather was his high school coach, and they're coaching, and he grew up wanting to be a coach. And I don't know what Buck's going to do now, but his grandfather was a big influence on him, and his mother. And I don't know, his mother is always there, and his sister is always there. Those three, and Grandma and Grandpa, and that's, and everywhere you go, you know you're going to be there, and you know that those are his #1 fans, and they have done a great job of bringing him around as a man.
The play that it happened on was another seam route, and the ball was a little high, and I jumped up to grab it, and it was kind of behind me, so I kind of jumped backwards, and that let the defender catch up with me, and he just landed on top of my shoulder, and it just went when we hit the ground. And I knew it right then, but I was just kind of like, I just hurt it. You know, not a serious injury. I just thought I just hit it real hard. Because we were in a 2-minute offense, so I mean, I ran straight back to the huddle. I think I had 2 more catches after that, and then held a field goal. And we go back into the locker room, and Dr. Evans feels my shoulder, and he all he does is this, and goes, "Oh, you're done. You're probably done for the season." And I lost it. I mean, I had to go stand in the shower by myself for like 15 minutes because I was so anxious for this season because I just had that one. I was finally a starter. I had 2 decent games up to that half. So, I mean, just really disappointing for me.
No, it was awful because I had Buck sitting in this chair over here, and I had Matt Nicky sitting there, and they got hurt back-to-back plays. You know, and Matt had the same type of year in '09 that Buck did. Actually, a better year statistically. But, you know, hey, look, this is a bump in the road, and nothing's going to be easy. And we've got to get through this. And, hey, let's red shirt, and we'll get now you got a chance to get a scholarship, and we can graduate, and we can get our master's degree. And, you know, I think those are the big things. We looked at all the positive sides on it. And Buck was very positive. We took him to the games. We took Matt to the games with us because of their leadership capabilities. And you know, it was probably more tough on me than it was, you know, because Buck could kind of see when Nick Stevens had got hurt. You know, Matt Nicky got hurt. You know, here Buck's hurt now. I mean, the list went on that year of the major players that got hurt for us. And he knew they would all get back and you know, try to, you know, come back the next year and being able to redshirt. It was early enough that it didn't hurt him. I'm just, you know, thankful for that. But hurt me worse. I had to find a holder in the middle of the game and a wide receiver that could make the catches like Buck.
I mean, the new system was awesome. Coach Hayes was awesome. I learned so much as just a football player, period. He taught me a lot. Just with this new offense, I learned so much. Of course, the first few games were real disappointing to us because we were so close in all of them. I mean, the ACU game, the last play of the game, and Alabama, basically the same thing. It just went back and forth in the last 3 minutes. So, I mean, a couple snaps and we could have started the season off 3-0. But as it ended up, it didn't. But as you know, how we ended the season really helps us. Going on that 5-game winning streak because we never quit working while we were here, which is one thing that this team has about them is we'll never quit, as we showed last season, even when we could have just shut it down because our season was pretty much lost. But yeah, I mean, that was tough just because we had such high expectations for last year too. Even with the new system coming in as an offense, we were still expecting to score 40, 50 points a game. So, I mean, just not being able to get it started like we wanted to wasn't how we wanted to have it. So, but ending how we did was real good for us as a team, I think, bringing us into this year.
And really, the sad thing about it is Buck really never got a coming out party. I feel like that Buck, over the course of his career, has been misused. I think that's a problem across college football. Is we get guys like Arthur coming out and he walks on, and we look to bring somebody else in, or we look to push a guy up the depth chart because you recruited him. I have a special bond with him because I was a walk-on. I was a walk-on just like Buck that got to play college football. And you have to battle. If you don't have somebody on the other end that realizes that, you have to battle for your day-to-day existence. And and I told Buck he'll never battle for his day-to-day existence. And we gave we gave him a scholarship and things going on. He's a tremendous player. He's a tremendous human being. He graduates. He could already had his master's, but he had to go part-time. Could actually be working on a second master's. He's worked in the financial aid. But what about a guy on the 6th year coming back and he didn't have to? And he has no opportunity to play in the National Football League. He knows that. He wants to be part of this program. Here's the greatest thing I'll say about Buck. Every one of Buck's friends, except for one, and graduated there. I'm talking about the guys that were close with him. And he has some that finished 09, whatever. But I'm talking about that had multiple years of eligibility left. When I took over as head football coach, every one of them, except for one, and he's already graduated, quit the football team and left because of the discipline and because of the things and the ways that we had to push this program to go, to be successful and to build it. This kid has stayed committed to this program when he didn't have to, working out constantly, and came back twice when he didn't have to. You can't say enough about it. I'll tell you one thing. Buck will be, the day he walks across that deal, I promise you this won't be a dry eye in the place if you know the kid and the guys that he's touched, because he's always laughing, he's smiling, and I'm gonna tell you one thing. I will miss that kid probably more than any kid that I've ever coached, and I have never got to coach him because being on the offensive side of the ball until I was blessed enough to become the head coach. He's a wonderful child. I told him I don't care if he catches a pass, and I don't care that he catches or I don't care if he does anything. Everything that he does is a bonus. I want Buck to teach us, coaches, players, and everybody, how in stressful times and in tough times in your life you find a way to smile, and to bridge the gap to understand that these young kids are going through, and being away from the family. It's awesome to have him around because he has a way of communicating with these young players, and that's the expectations. Bridge the gap. One of his best friends is George Murray. Bridge the gap that George taught you about this program, about being a Tarleton Texan, and how much you love being a Tarleton Texan. How much there's nobody loved being a Tarleton Texan. How he played with Jacob Rowe. Those guys, are all tied in this thing together. Devin Gwynn loved Tarleton State more than anybody, and all those guys were 4 or 5 year players, and they taught Buck what it meant to be a Tarleton State Texan. He's connected to the past deeper than anybody on our team. Teach these guys, teach these guys what it means to be a Tarleton State Texan, and how it's a great honor. Most people don't forget about the honor of just being on the team, and Buck's been honored to be part of the team. And I want great things to happen to him, but there's so many things he'll do in that locker room and those meeting rooms and just hanging around. I just hope he don't teach them some of the most ridiculous songs that they sang on the bus back so I can get some sleep. But that's what I want him to teach them is, when we get in there, Buck, sang the song. All right, Buck, get up here, lead us in this school song. He knows everything, and I think that's what's awesome about him. Teach these guys that it is a tremendous right to go to school here, and even a bigger honor to play football.
I wouldn't change it for anything, honestly. I came here as a walk-on that was just supposed to be some guy to help him during camp my freshman year. luckily a couple people got hurt my true freshman year, so I kind of got a little more reps during camp than what I should have got. So I kind of got to make a name for myself then, which helped me stay for my next year. And so then, I mean, after that, it's just been a journey. And I fell in love with the school, Stephenville, and the community, everything. Like I said, I wouldn't change anything. I'll bleed purple for the rest of my life now.